Alright, so in the last video, we figured out how to give feedback to the user that they've won, as well as discontinue the ability to play the game. And so now we need to figure out how to actually start the game over without having to go up here and refresh the browser. So we need some sort of button to restart the game that you should be able to press at any point in the game to restart the game. So great thing about this is we should be able to just take our initial state and just reset it. And so what we're going to do is for our state here, I'm going to take this object and actually save it in a variable called initial state. So I'm just going to take this, copy it. We're going to go way up here. These are kind of all of our our game variables, right? The things that make our game work the way that we want it to. So we're going to say const initial state equals that. The reason I'm doing uppercase for some things and then camel case for others, things that are camel case that are constants are usually, for me, they're usually functions. And then if they are something other than a function, then I use like uppercase, separating words with an underscore. However, the reason for variables inside of functions being camel case, like typically this would be what you would want to do for constants that are more global, right? And so if it's a constant that is scoped, then you would want to use camel case. But if it's a constant that is globally available, then use uppercase. All right, cool. So we have initial state. And so what we're going to do is use this clone deep to build our new state. So we're going to say clone deep initial state. So this should just still work as expected. That's all good. Okay, everything's working fine there. And then we want some sort of reset button. And so we're going to say reset. Just make sure that that renders. Cool. Super ugly, but it works. All right. Let's put it above here. All right, cool. And then we're going to say we need some sort of click handler for this. So we're going to say on click. And then we can just right here say set state initial state. Except we need to clone it again. We always need to clone it. Why deep clone is not the clone deep? That's what it is. Okay, cool. I think that would work. Let's see. Reset. Yeah. So then I go here. I can just reset the game. It's super easy, super straightforward. Not a lot going on with that, right? Pretty straight ahead. Now to clean this up briefly, let's go ahead and just kind of go through here, delete our console logs. We can just do a quick find in the file to figure out where all we have our console logs. There's one. There's another one. We might have a couple that are nested. I think we have one for the click. Nope. Okay, so it's like we've deleted all our console logs now. Another way that we can clean this up, I talked before about how we could clean up this function just a little bit. And so with arrow functions, you can do what's called implicit returns. And so this return right here, basically you ditch the return keyword as well as the curly brackets. And so that would mean we lose that. This is where it gets weird. Hold on. I get turned around whenever I am. Okay, so it's usually better if first I delete the brackets and then delete the keyword. It's a lot easier for me. Otherwise I get lost trying to figure out which curly bracket goes where. All right, so then we have that. And then I'm good with that. You could make this an implicit return, and you could do all that. You could even go crazy and just like say return, and then just pass all of this logic in right here. But I think if you start to try to make it too quote unquote efficient, or you know what I mean, like too many implicit returns, and you try to make it, you could put all this on one line if you wanted to, but the end of the day, you start to lose readability. So I like this. I think this is a little bit cleaner. And one other thing that we need to do, right now, we're always rendering an H2 tag. We want to only render this if we actually have, if the game is actually over, right? And so you can wrap this in these curly brackets and say has won and display the winning message. I usually put these in parentheses like this. Clean this up just a little bit. Actually, I'll do that. And I'm not actually destructuring has one. Let's go ahead and stack these. And we should now get the same result. My computer is about to die. Let's see. Yeah, so that still works. I can reset the game. That was a bit strange. Was not expecting that. Okay, that might have been an animation thing. Sometimes when I'm doing these screen recordings, I get weird things happening as far as animation goes. Things get a little bit choppy. So, but yeah, this is all working as expected. So I would challenge you to make it maybe a little bit more customizable to the user. Maybe you have some form up here where you say, where you ask the user, how many rows do you want? How many columns do you want? How many consecutive squares are needed to win? And then maybe make it more than a two-player game. That would be a really good challenge for you to try. Um, as a hint, I would do something like an array of letters that are available, and then kind of loop through that array to figure out whose turn it is. So you could make this even more customizable, but I think that this is a good approach to start with as far as making it a tic-tac-toe game, kind of the React way of doing things. All right, hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks.